Girl has a sweet tooth. Hi guys, welcome back. Emily here. If you haven't seen one of my videos before, I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery on August 20th of 2012 and have lost over 120 pounds. I like to share experiences with you that might help you in this journey that you're having, or if you had any kind of hard journey like I have with divorce and being an overweight, obese, morbidly obese woman, and just struggles that I've had in my life. I'm always here to share experiences with you guys to relate, but also hopefully it will help you in some way. And my feedback on the last video that I got from the plastics insurance approval guys was so awesome. So thank you for all that amazing feedback, and I hope that you'll follow me on this journey. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button below so that you can follow me on the plastics journey and continue with me on this weight loss journey. I wanted to talk today to you about something. I've touched on it in the past, but this is going to be a video just dedicated to that, and that is visual triggers. So I think one of the biggest things that has helped me to be able to lose weight and keep it off from being, 290 pounds at one point is eliminating visual triggers. And I had to go through at a time in my life and really eliminate those triggers. I've reevaluated some now, and I have a few things that I follow that are visually, food images, but I'm constantly reevaluating that. So what that means to me when I say visual triggers is something that triggers you to want to go eat, or want to go make a recipe, or want to go out to eat, or want to go to, a store and buy a certain product that's food related. I want us to try to get those out. And I had a real problem, and Pinterest is a bad one for this. I use Pinterest all the time. I think it's better. And they are more in tune to what I follow now. So a lot of times there's keto stuff right at the top of my Pinterest page, but man, there is some good looking stuff on there, and it's really hard to not see that. And sometimes it's subconscious, and I don't even think we realize it. So I wanted to take it real seriously when I talk about this. I went through, and not Pinterest, but on Facebook and Instagram, I went through and unfollowed a ton of restaurants because I was sick of getting the food pictures. I wasn't sick of it. I loved it, but I was having issues with getting the food pictures in my feed. It just started triggering me to want to go eat something, want to go make something. And that adds to extra pounds, guys, and it adds to weight gain back, and it adds to not being able to maintain. The other part of visual triggers are just things in my house. I've had to go through a whole overhaul of my house. There was things that I was keeping in my house that I wouldn't even tell you. If you asked me, I probably would have not been honest with myself about it. Some of those are my kids' lunch foods, which I try to keep out of sight, out of mind anyway, because some of those are just things that I don't eat. I do low carb. They aren't really on low carb, although we do limit the sugar here. But like I buy them Cliff Bars for their lunch, and some of those are delicious. Actually, they all are. Chocolate chip, brownie, all these yummy flavors. And if I see those and I'm really craving something, a lot of times I have in the past, pop them in my mouth because they're good. So if that's something, if there's some food in your house that triggers you that you know about, I heard Chalene Johnson talk about having a bag of chocolate chips up in her cupboard, and by the end of a week, she had eaten an entire bag of chocolate chips. Especially for us, having dealt with this in the past, that's not insane to think of. We could easily do that. I have done things like that. Maybe you don't feel like you struggle with it, but I want you to be conscientious that there's more visual triggers in your life probably than you even realize. And same here. We don't all deal with the television commercials anymore because, a lot of us are doing Netflix and Hulu and things like that, but you still get bombarded with billboards on TV and McDonald's pamphlets coming through the mail and stuff like that. And all of it is subconsciously going into your brain, and you are thinking about food whether you realize it or not. So I really encourage you to try to eliminate some of those triggers. Try to unfollow some of the Pinterest boards that you follow. Maybe in your past life of being an overweight person, you were following a lot of dessert boards like I was. Girl has a sweet tooth. I was always looking for baking and things like that. Now I'm looking at, when I bake something for the kids, I'm looking at clean eating and whole grain type of stuff, baking with oatmeal and almond flour. It's okay if you want to look at a little bit of that, but even that can get a little bit of a trigger too, because you're going down a path and you're seeing images of pumpkin bread and apple bread. I mean, I've just did this, you know, just very recently. So maybe if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, do it on a full stomach. But really key and important to get trigger foods out of your life and trigger images out of your life. There's no reason that we need to be bombarded with that. If there's a time and a place where you're doing meal planning and meal prep and you want to look at that, that's perfectly fine. I suggest doing it again on a full stomach, but that's just me. I'm a visual person. If I have something out of sight, it is typically out of mind. I can have like my mom made us like fudge and sweet treats for Christmas last year, and she made us each a little plastic container of them. I have them downstairs in the deep freezer, out of sight, out of mind. I rarely ever think about them, and occasionally will grab one piece out of there. But you have to be honest with yourself. Is that occasional? Am I hitting that chocolate bar or whatever stash I have in the cupboard occasionally, or is it on my mind a little bit more? If it is, throw that crap in the garbage, because it's not worth it. Your success is dependent on you making these self-care, good choices for yourself, getting rid of the garbage that has always had you fail in the past. You are at battle constantly with your own brain. I am still at battle with my own brain on certain things all the time too. So these little things that you do to eliminate the triggers and the bad days and the problems are just gonna set you up for that much more success in the future. Whether you can acknowledge that you even have that issue or not, give it a try. Try to eliminate that stuff and tell me how it goes. And just be really honest with yourself. What is triggering you? What isn't? That's fine. If stuff isn't, then you can leave it, but be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, if you saw that and you were really hungry and you were craving something sweet, would you grab it? That's the kind of question that you want to ask yourself. I hope this helps a little bit. I wanted to keep it brief, but go over that a little bit more. I've touched on it in other videos, but it has been, like I said, key. It's a mental battle, guys. Every day you're fighting a mental battle, and you're gonna go through times where it feels like you're on fire, you're losing weight and you're doing so good and you're not cheating and you're just doing amazing. And you're also gonna go through periods where you're not doing so good. And one little thing, actually my girlfriend just mentioned this the other day, and it's going to be very helpful to me. I already know it. She said she notices a pattern every single year that when the Halloween candy from her kids comes in the house, that's what triggers her gain of weight, like for the holidays, and for her to be on like a spiral of like getting like extra calories in for the rest of the year. And thankfully it works out. My kids are actually with their dad this year on Halloween, and so I'm just gonna tell him no Halloween candies coming back in this house. There will probably be some from like parties and things like that, but I think I'm just gonna tell the kids like it needs to be gone. It can go to your dad's. Just get it out of your house. Like for me, Halloween candy, the chocolate, the Snickers, the Kit Kats, all that, Reese's peanut butter cups, that's my jam. And I hit that like every day after Halloween. So I know it doesn't need to be in my house. And I thought that was an awesome observation. That's what kicks off like the holiday eating. That along with like caramel apples, apple cider, this stuff is all way too much sugar, guys. I'm sorry if like you're on a plan where maybe sugar isn't the focus, but sugar isn't helping you. It's not doing you any favors. So if you can limit it, that's great. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. I would love to make more videos on these type of topics for you. And thank you guys so much for watching. I think that's all I have. I will see you in the next video.